Hello, everyone. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Everyone is Irish today, I'm sure, right? Woo, woo, woo. We are always happy to bring new guests to the show here today. And we've got Christopher Mears. He's an advocate and a parent of a special needs child who's going to talk to us about the 7 things that he's learned as a parent. And we look at the statistics of disabilities and special needs in the country. Chris is going to open up with that and talk about it. The need is growing. And then we've got changes happening within our government at the federal level where words like disability are banned from use. So we're thinking, how do we help support not only the youth and children who have special needs, but as they grow into adulthood and they age out of support services? What can we do? How do we connect with them? How do we support them? And Chris is here to talk about that. And as always, we've got Phil Vetrano over here on this side, woo, 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 away from the logo today, but our HELPipedia co-founder. So with that, Christopher Mears, please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Loralyn and Phil. I'm Christopher Mears. As Loralyn mentioned, I live in the Memphis, Tennessee area. I'm a marketing consultant by trade. I also teach marketing at a local university. But what I'm here to share with you today is being a special needs dad. Let me give you some stats, as Loralyn mentioned. Across the U.S., there are over 60 million people who have some form of special needs, from dyslexia to autism and everything in between. Dyslexia is a very debilitating challenge, certainly. My son, Taylor, is 33. He has autism, cerebral palsy, and intellectual disability. He functions at about a 2-year-old level with no speech. So to say that life is very stressful at times for him and for his mom and me and others around him is an understatement. So let me just share some thoughts with you if you know some folks out there, or you have a special needs child, or you have a friend or another loved one out there who's struggling with the world we're in today with a special needs child to adult. Let me give you some perspectives from my world and see if that may be able to help you. So first and foremost, is I've written 2 books about my relationship with my son, Taylor. So first thing that jumped out on the page preparing for this podcast, this stream live, is God did not punish me. You're thinking, oh my gosh, why is he leading with that? Because when you get the announcement that your child has special needs, that your child has significant developmental delays, all kinds of emotions just come pouring out. And honestly, as a good faith-based person, I thought, for the love of Pete, what did I do wrong? Why am I in this situation? My oldest son was a beautiful, perfect baby when he was born. No issues, no problems. My 2 youngest children, no issues, no problem. And then God gave us Taylor. I see Taylor as our gift. That's how I viewed it, and that's how my wife viewed it. So God did not punish me. The next 3 ideas that I have are suggestions for you, reasons, and what I've learned as a special needs dad really are kind of linked. So let me just take each one real quickly. One is, if you're now knowing that your child has special needs, learn what resources and programs are out there. By state, all 50 states have some programs, some more than others. Some do a lot more with those special needs individuals than others. But learn what's out there, and learn, most importantly, what the challenges are for your loved one. When I learned about autism, I thought, oh my gosh, I have no idea what that meant. Back in 1992, when Taylor was diagnosed, there were 1 in 2,500 children that were born with autism. Now the number is less than 1 in 50. So suffice to say, thanks to the internet, lots of technology, a lot of information sharing, knowledge of that challenge has become much more prevalent, and I'm thankful for that. But learn about what your child's challenge is. The next one, the third one, is connecting with others. We're in the world of social media. We're on a platform talking in social media. So learn about the people and the organizations, the board of directors, the other resources that are out there around the globe who may be struggling just like you. Maybe they're having the same kinds of fears that you have. Maybe they have the same kind of emotional feelings and anxieties that you have. Find out who they are and get to know them. But the important part about this particular comment is stay positive. Those early years with my son Taylor, I wasn't. I'll be very candid with all of you. I wasn't. I was blaming everybody under the sun, blaming the world around me. But the reality is I wasn't focused on Taylor. What's important for Taylor and his need? What do we do next? That's what really was important. The fourth one really is getting involved. From the early time that Taylor was diagnosed, I decided at the request of my wife, she said, Chris, stop being angry at the world, get involved. You're a very proactive person by nature. You're self-motivated. You like to connect with people, so get involved. So I joined a local board of directors agency here in Memphis, and I got involved. I started to learn what resources were available, what ones weren't. What could I do as a marketing person to help them? So I raised a lot of money. I did a lot of things in the community. I did research. I did a lot of things to try to help that agency and many others over the years. And I got involved. And what I found out too was while I was getting involved, I became a vigilant advocate. I became very focused on, I know what the state can do and I know what the state cannot do. So let's focus on what they can do and let me find a way to interact with others and collaborate to figure out how to get things done. For that was very helpful for me and really kind of accelerated my knowledge and awareness and frankly, my expertise in learning what's available. What's SSI? When should I get, a special needs trust done? How much, resources is he legally entitled to? All kinds of different things. So getting involved really makes a difference. And it's not just posting something on your, Facebook page or on, X or something else. It's getting involved in these agencies and organizations. They're all looking for help. So use your expertise and passion to help. Right.
Chris, let's just jump in there for a bit and talk about, so you've given us 4 great lessons so far that you've learned. And I want to put emphasis on the last one, the get involved. This is what HELPipedia really does. We are behind youth development, and we have 2 chapters. One is well-being, and the other is special needs, because we recognize that 60 million people in the US, right? That's no small number. That's basically 1 in 5, just about 1 in 5 to 6 has a special need. And I want to just flip things over to Phil for a moment to just talk about what he's seen as far as the need and the appetite for special needs and how people are just searching but not finding. Phil, what do you have to say about all this?
Thanks, Loralyn, and great job, Chris. So definitely there's opportunities to utilize HELPipedia when you have you're asking for help, when you need help. And what Chris mentioned is you want to surround yourself with resources and know who can you utilize to help the situation that you have. And so we're well connected in HELPipedia. We have 33 community partners who would be happy and delighted to make referrals for you and or support you in our special needs weekly event. So it's every Tuesday at 12 o'clock. Feel free to contact me or Loralyn or Chris, and we'll introduce you to that meeting. And you could just let us know what help you need to support you, because the challenges are deep and wide, and you don't have to do it alone. And there's a lot of experts who can help and provide you support.
And I think that's key. Where I want to turn things back over to Chris is that, you talked about also in your lesson 3 that you need to be able to connect with others and get involved, right? All of these different things. And learning about the resources available to you. So by plugging into these different community groups, nonprofits or otherwise, it's nice to be able to find out, hey, who else in Memphis found a dentist that deals with a grown child, right? An adult who has autism, who's nonverbal. How do you communicate? How do you make sure that your child is going to feel safe in the comfort of that dentist, when we all know the dentist office creates a lot of trauma for a lot of people? And so these are the kinds of things that we're really excited to be supporting Chris on and to be able to collaborate with Chris on, because people need access to this information. People don't have time to go through and read everything. They want it distilled down. Hey, who do you know? Who's the dentist in the area that does it? Great. Who's the doctor that can do this? Great. Oh, they don't take Medicare? Dang. Next, right? So Chris, let me turn it back over to you here.
Sure. Great comments and great commentary. I really appreciate that. The 5th lesson that I learned is celebrate what your loved one can do and don't focus on the negative. There's so much negativity about everything in the world today. It's very easy to get down in the dumps and think, my son can't ride a bike. He can't. My son is never going to have a job. He won't. My son will probably never have a meaningful relationship, with someone, a woman or whatever. That's not going to happen either. But it's okay. Taylor is on top of his world, as I say in my book many times, in his own world. He loves to play ball. He loves to socialize. He loves to go to the park. He loves to go swim. Focus on those things that loved one can do and celebrate that, right? And enjoy the little, we call them at home, the little victories. Little things that Taylor would do that he probably should have done if he were a typical child when he was 2 or 3. He's doing when he's 32 or 33. It's okay. You know what? That's all right. It's okay. That's his world, and it's okay that we can celebrate with him and enjoy the moment. So the point here, just as you would with any other child, please be supportive always. It's very important for that child to always see that positive reinforcement, because again, it's easy to get very frustrated, which candidly I have many times as well, that Taylor couldn't do this or he couldn't go there. It seems so simple to all of us, but to his world, it's not. So celebrate those little victories whenever you can.
And I'm going to jump in again, Chris, before you get to
Sure, please.
the 6th and 7th lessons. I can't emphasize enough the power of the words that you just said, because you are admitting publicly that you've struggled sometimes, you've fought against it, you've had the resistance. All of these things are natural feelings, and nobody should feel like they have to suppress those feelings. You're a human being too. You wanted X for your son, and now you find out he's X minus Y. He can't do it. You've done all kinds of things and just learned and worked through it and seen how Taylor's been frustrated trying to move on or do the next things. And so I think this is really, really big and really important for our audience to understand that it's not easy. And anybody else on the outside that's saying, oh, get over it, do this or do that, come on. Like, really?
Well, thank you. And especially if you have, in my situation, you have 3 other children, again, typical children, like other children, playing sports, going out, doing things with their friends and all those kind of things. And then we have Taylor. Taylor has always been a part of our lives, obviously for the parent reason, but he's always been in the mix when we're playing outside or kickball or whatever it might be. He's always a part of that. And, that was a conscious decision by my wife and me. Is it frustrating at times? Absolutely. Do I give up? Absolutely not. And that's the point I'm trying to make, is you have to be just, doggedly determined to continue on, because your child needs you to be their advocate. Your child or adult needs you as much as possible. Okay. So the 6th one, kind of the counter to that, is tune out all the ignorance that's out there. And there's a lot. I mean, wherever you are, wherever you go, the R word comes out in the world of special needs, and I'm not going to repeat it because it's vulgar to me, but it happens every single day. And if you're listening to this podcast one on you're reviewing whatever with others, just understand that their ignorance does not need to be your ignorance. You go and take the high road, and you just say, you know what? I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to get dragged down into it. It's very frustrating. It's very stupid, quite candidly. But that's the way, unfortunately, our society is on many different issues, not just special needs, as we all know. So stay positive and stay out of the fray. Again, I chose to write about the cool things that Taylor was doing, the special little moments. I had journals that I kept on all my children. And then when Taylor graduated from high school at age 22, which probably is the case in most states, if not all, I gave him a scrapbook. So he couldn't read any of that, but it was always there for him as a memory, that someone could read to him that, his dad did this, etc. I'm not looking for credit. I just wanted him to have a memory of something that happened positively, throughout his life. Now, did he have some, naughty things that he did? Absolutely. And I recorded those too, not because I wanted to single those out, but understand that he's just like my other children. The good, and not so good. This is the way life is, right? But celebrate the cool things as you can.
And we do need to tune out that ignorance. I mean, the latest thing in just the list of banned vocabulary on federal websites and federal grants, you can't use the word disability. Like, right. What or what? What do you call it? You can't use non-ability. You can't paraphrase it. You can't use special needs. What do you say? Right? It's outrageous.
Exactly.
So I can
Yeah,
understand.
it's very challenging. And for those who are very techno savvy out there, I'm sure everybody on this is, blog, do a video blog, do a vlog, do whatever makes sense to you, but capture those moments. Because as I tell my other children, now I have 2 grandchildren, telling my children with those, my grandchildren, you're never going to remember any of those things. As much as you think you will, you won't. And so as you get older and stuff, capture those moments because they are special, and put them in, wherever you do store them, put them on a flash drive, put them on somewhere, but have those moments available to you. And you can, go back and review those at some point in your life. Okay. The last one is really kind of the positive end to this, and I'll go right into rehabilitation if I may, is, love your child, love your adult just as much as you do your other children. If you have no other children and this is your child, the good Lord gave you, then celebrate that. Love that child. Don't for a nanosecond treat that child anything differently. I know it sounds kind of crazy to say that, and it's not a lesson that I wouldn't have thought, hey, I love him as much. But sometimes people, I have to admit, that I've run into over my years, don't. They see that child, they try to protect that child, but they treat that child very, very differently than they do their other children. And for me, I don't think that's the right approach. Taylor is a part of our family. He experiences things differently than my other children and others, but that's okay because he's special in a very different way. The good Lord, as I said, gave us Taylor as a gift. So we celebrate that gift every day, and we love him just as much as we do our other children. Now, the other ones drive me crazy a lot more, to be quite honest with you, in a lot of different ways, but that's a totally different time, another podcast. But in all seriousness, Taylor is very special that way, and I love him dearly, as does my wife and his siblings, etc. So if I may kind of close with where all this has led me to, years ago, I conceived of an idea that now is called Rehability. And it's a platform that provides real-time information about jobs, programs, activities, special events, whatever it may be, in real time, pulling from 400 plus agencies around the country. When they have a change in their programming, you as an individual get an email or text alert, and you create a customized profile on the platform that you can then get updates about, hey, there's a job in my area. I think my son would be appropriate for that, blah, blah, blah. The point was I took all that information I share with you in those 7 lessons and others and said, you know what, I can do more. I need to do more. I need to be a part of the world that's moving forward to try to help these 60 million people any way that I can. I can't change Taylor's condition and the fact that he's functions at a 2 or 3 year old level, but I can change the things around him to improve the quality of his life. And that's what I'm laser focused on. And that's what that platform was originally intended to do. And with the wonderful help of Loralyn and Phil and HELPipedia, we can go maybe to a whole nother level or to make it even better.
That's right. And so as we're coming to a close, so first, Chris, we want to say thank you for being on the show, for being vulnerable, for being transparent and sharing both the combination of frustration and joy that you've had raising a child with special needs, as well as raising other children that are part of the general population, and sharing with us some of the difficulties, not only just of parenting that child, but trying to get access to the resources that are needed to be able to support your child, right? They just don't make that clear on websites. They don't say, step 1, do this, step 2, click here. That like it's not laid out like that, right? You have to hunt
Right.
and
No, it's not.
To that end,
No.
it's great that we can close with this, that by teaming up with HELPipedia's mission to enable youth development and really drive positive change, not only for the youth that we support, but their parents, and with all of the heart-centered community partners and change makers that we have, but teaming up now with Chris and expanding what we have with our Hub for Help so that we can make that directory of special needs resources easier for people to find, to use, all of that stuff. So stay tuned. We are on a mission. Of course, it's going to take a little fundraising, because we are not trust fund babies, but we're working on that too. So with that, any parting words, gentlemen, before we wrap?
Great job. Thanks, Chris.
No, I just want to say thank you, Loralyn. Thank you, Phil, and HELPipedia. Thank you for wanting to connect with me. And I'm available. You're welcome to share my contact information to anyone who hears this or sees this. Happy to answer your questions. I've done that hundreds of times over the years. I'm happy to help any way I can.
Excellent. Well, with that, the show is a wrap. And I know we came live at you here today at a special time, but we'll be back next. Actually, we're taking a week off next week, March 22nd, 24th. But we'll be back at our normal time, March 31st, 3 p.m. ET every week. And if you'd like to be a guest or know someone who would be a great guest for us to move our youth development efforts forward in education and support, ping us. You know how to find Phil and I. We're everywhere. We're online. All right. With that, thank